all you ever want to do is play. So let's play.
Yeah. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Real mode, but y'all sheep.
All right, what's going on, fam? Welcome to Ask Papa Swolio Live. We are live. We live. 1556. Smash the old like button. Say what's up when you come on in. Gonna send out some more texts right now. Another round of texts. Another round of texts.
Yeah, boo. So we can wage war, but I'm gonna get what I came for. Real gang, that's a crew name. We all graduated to the two-door. Sacred Global, that's an infrastructure. All y'all niggas like the Titanic. I'm the
What's up, Siobhan, Kashina? Marek, what up? Hello there. Peach Eye Folly. Hello, Peach Eye. Badass Bunny. Katja de Groot. Look at these names. All right, I'll take it. Happy Sunday, Christian. Sheesh, 1556 already. No shit. No shit. New phone, who dis? New phone, who dis? Who dis? We have two Mareks. We got a Marek Wilmansky, and we got a Marek Brower. Jeez, we got two Mareks? What up? What up, double Marek? Allison, Amanda, Jenny, Sarah A, Rachel Rion, yo. Hey, yo, Beach. Hey, yo, Adrian. We got a little podcast, huh? We got a podcast coming up. Oh. You want to do a podcast? I don't want to do it. All I want to do is go live, you know? The Marek attack, papa. Loving the elimination diet. Excellent. Fantastic. Justin Guido to the main stage. Justin Guido to the main stage. Sunday Swole. Sunday Swole. What's up, James? Insane lovely. Looks like I'm listening to you at the gym. Looks like it. Good for you. That's good news. You're welcome. Hit that filthy horse like button. Please do it. Hit the button, please. Please hit it. Come on, man. Come on. Don't ask for much. Please hit the like button. I hope they like me. I hope they show my videos to someone that follows me. Rilla mode. Yeah, come on in. Ask Papa Swolio. So we're doing a lot of questions today. We'll get started in a few minutes. Oh, there you go. Christine just finished up having my ass kicked for a virtual heavy bag sweat session. Small fam, soul text. Yeah. All right. Oh, here we go. Little face-to-face, Kang Darius. Face to face. Come on in through the door. We got episode 1556 ready to kick off. We got to Ask Papa Swolio live. Live. Look at me. I'm live.
The older I get, emphatic I am. They try to pretend, they try to be friend, wreak havoc instead. Look at the trends, can't comprehend my dramatic ascent. I'm heavenly sent, they try to condemn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the man. Yeah, different vision, but the same goes. Big collision off the main road. That's the beaten path where my brain goes. Fuck the devil's wrath off my halo. Hella stones, no Thanos. Hella gold, no rainbow. This is hella genius in my brain lobes. Hella gross as far as revenue goes. Bought me a net for these Benjamins though. You not a threat, you an enemy though. Broke me a sweat, killing enemies slow. Body offset, all these feminine flows. Hardly upset, but you testing me though. All of these stats are depressingly low. Why your girl think I'm a specimen?
Right.
Drones and them perks is my medicine. Madison.
Everyone's coming
There's
in.
No comparison. Black in
Swolenormous,
America,
ask
little
Papa
too arrogant.
Swolio.
I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant.
No, this is a
I shouldn't have
throwback.
mentioned
This
it.
is
That's royal etiquette.
not
Out of
new.
my element, way too
I get the
intelligent.
newest
Grab
King
you a
D.
therapist, send
I
in
get
my
the newest
sentiments.
jams. This is
Netflix
not a new
sentiments.
one.
Cop me a
It's a
Tesla,
good one
skirt
though.
through the valley. Drop the investment in Silicon Valley. All this cake, but I'm missing the patty.
It's an oldie but a goodie. Total body torch.
The chassis. King of the grass like I'm Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors I labels as testing.
That's right. Please leave some question marks. If you got a question, you got to drop it with APS. APS, Ask Papa Swolio. Let's get into it. We got some good shit. In just a few seconds, we're going to get started. Make sure you hit that like button, share it, let people know that we're live. Let people know that we're live. I might have to hop in on Instagram real quick. Might have to. Let me do a little story. All right, we're about to go live. Here we go. Join me live for Ask Papa Swolio live. Swipe up, bish. Swipe up. No, I don't even have the link. Fuck it. They're going to miss out on it. Let's do it. Fuck Instagram. Jabronis. Swolenormous.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Test. Testing, testicles. Testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1556 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, husses, and your hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio. We got some hashtag make it fucking happen today. Make it happen today. Ask Papa Swolio. Ask Papa Swolio Schlive. It's Ask Papa Swolio Schlive. So if it's your first time watching Ask Papa Swolio Schlive, you need to drop some hashtags, but hashtag make it happen for today. I figure this is better. I figure if we just do hashtag, like a card, APS, it's like, cool, you win an Ask Papa Swolio card. That's cool for most of the time. But today I felt like making it happen. It's Sunday. A lot of people are taking the day off. If you want your question featured, drop that hashtag. So that's going to separate the questions. It's going to separate the questions from the people that just want some fucking swole card. Separate that shit. You want a swole card? Fine. You want a question answered? That's what we're here for. Show us that glorious beard, Papa Swolio. Feast your eyes on it. Ooh, the glorious beard. Show us the glorious beard, Papa Swolio. Show it to us. So if you want your question featured, so we're going to go into a little bit of tip today. This is a little bit of a different format for those of you that are brand new to the podcast. This is a special Sunday episode, so a special Sunday edition of the Daily Swole podcast where we do Ask Papa Swolio live. So if you enjoy the Ask Papa Swolio videos here on the channel, you are going to love today's episode because you could ask whatever question you want. Just use the hashtag, follow the scrolling text at the bottom, and use the hashtag Ask Papa Swolio, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio, hashtag APS. All of that is good. All that works. Hashtag APS, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. That's all fine. Drop your question in the comments below. So what'd you smash today? What you doing? Let's get into it. We're going to do some tip. We're going to do some new release. We're going to explain what's available right now, but you can start dropping your questions in the comments down below right now. So let's get into it, shall we?
Babe, just an inch.
It
It's
is
cold outside.
It is cold outside. Indeed it is. And we got some accountability meeting action tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. For those of you that are Swole Fam members, if you want to learn more, check out swolenormousx.com. So tomorrow's episode is at 12 noon Eastern time. It is for members only. It is inside the private group, the private Swole Fam group on Facebook. It will be uploaded into Swole TV. We will go over new releases. We will do private Q&A. We will talk about the new announcements, the new things we got going on. We got some new stuff. We'll talk about that tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. Don't miss out on any of it. So what are you doing today? What are you smashing today? We'll get into some questions in just a second, but what are you smashing today? What are you smashing today? What are you pumping? What you doing? What you doing? I'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. We got some new NOC goal. Is this the impossible goal? Is this even possible, or is this the impossible goal? The most impossible goal ever, 120 pounds in a year. Interesting post. This is going to help a lot of you, a lot of people that set overly aggressive goals and kind of are thinking too big, trying to eat the whole pie at once. You're trying to eat it all. You're trying to shove it all in your mouth. Check out this video. This is on the Swolenormous channel. This is some new NOC. Right here on the Daily Swole, the Knowledge Cock Network, we got some new Extra Thirsty, and this one is from Intuitive registered dietitians. Oh my God, we got more. We have more. But wait, there's more. If you've lost and subsequently regained weight, even more weight than you had in the first place, you've experienced the most normal and the most common outcome of weight loss pursuits. You're not broken. Your body is protecting you the way it has evolved to. I don't think so. I don't think that's I don't think we have a situation. We have a situation in this society in which we are settling for average because average is unhealthy. Average is not good. Normal. We are creating a new normal by being fatter than ever, by being lazier than ever. This is not something to aspire to. We should not be aiming to be normal, aiming to be average. If you just do the bare minimum, if you just follow the mob, if you do the minimum, you will be average. The minimum, you will be normal. If you stuff your fucking face, you will be normal. Do you want to be normal? I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be like anyone else. Most people suck. Most people do not have any direction. Most people aren't trying to better themselves. Most people don't care about their health. Most people don't give a fuck about anything in their life. Most people are just happy chasing yarn and just fucking around on social media and going out binge drinking, watching Netflix all the fucking time. Most people are just escapist all the time because they have no purpose. They haven't found, because they're not looking. They don't care. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be average. Fuck that shit. So I think that's a stupid thing to accept. And we got some more Extra Thirsty from your girl, Caroline Dooner. Caroline Dumbshit from the Fuck It Diet. That vigilance and self-control and willpower might actually be an eating disorder. Or it might be discipline. Okay. Or good old disordered eating. Hard to hear, but often true. Disordered eating. Okay. We got to tease out. And we have to separate this kind of bullshit narrative and this word, this language that's getting more and more vague. Have you noticed this on social media? That it's not just an eating disorder. Eating disorder that's a term. That's a term that has weight for people. And that's like PTSD. You have an eating disorder. But then you have disordered eating. Do you see what's going on here? Now they're not calling it an eating disorder. Now, you just have disordered eating. How vague is that? What does that mean? What does that mean? You're using the same words, you're reversing them. So instead of having an eating disorder, which is diagnosable, but then you tell yourself a story, you are a bulimic, you are an anorexic, and then people are living under that fucking umbrella, feeling broken, feeling miserable, feeling like they can't change, feeling defined. And then all of a sudden, instead of having an eating disorder now, no, you just have disordered eating. Well, that encompasses everything. Disordered eating. I think making a poor choice with food, that could be disordered. Well, how are you defining that? The definitions change every fucking day, so you can't even have these conversations because you don't know who's talking and how they are defining it. So we got some more nonsense. Check it out. Extra Thirsty right here. Good old disordered eating. The more vague you can be, the more people you can fucking rope in, right? The more vague your cult is, the better. Just have it vague. Vague. That's how you make a cult, right? Just keep it vague. Keep it fucking vague. I got some more content coming on some of that shit. Blaming. You have these groups like the Fat Acceptance that are creating cults and then blaming diet culture for being a cult. It's like, well, you're doing the exact same thing that you are doing the cult thing. You are changing what people are thinking. You are creating an us versus them false truth narrative. It's crazy. Why can't we have just this general acceptance that health is important and that being obese is not healthy? Stuffing your face with garbage food is not healthy. There shouldn't be any kind of fucking diet. There shouldn't be any kind of whatever intuitive eating. I think if you're very well trained, you have excellent habits, I can do intuitive eating. I can do it because I've been doing it for 20 fucking years. And I've learned and I've educated myself and I choose quality foods. I use intuitive eating in terms of my caloric limits. I don't count my calories. I just don't. I know how much I need. I know about how much I need to consume, and I adjust it. I'd rather not micromanage my day and rather not weigh it all out and put in an app every fucking day and live by the scale. That's how I don't think that's a high quality of life. So, yeah, I actually have less eating issues than most people. Oh, you're so strict with your nutrition. Not really. Not really. I just don't eat crap, so I don't have to micromanage my food because I make fundamental good choices. I don't have to micromanage my consumption because I don't make silly decisions. If you're eating crap, at least you need to be monitoring how much, because if you're eating crap, your body doesn't get the right signals. Your body is getting lied to. The hormone cycle, in the sense of what tells your body when it's hungry and when it's full, it's less accurate. Your body gets delayed. That kind of the hunger mechanism or your endocrine system is delayed in terms of how long your body will get that feedback. Hormones are just chemical messengers. How long it will take the messages to cycle back to the brain, essentially, to tell you that you're full. There's about 10, 15, 20-minute delay. That's why you'll eat 1,000 more calories before you actually feel full. You should be eating until you're about 75, 80% full, and then you should be resting or pausing, because chances are you just need to wait a little more time. You're already full. Your stomach is already stretched. You already have the calories you need. You just don't have that information hasn't cycled back. That information hasn't come back around to your brain yet. Your body doesn't have that information available yet. There's a delay. So in that 10, 15 minutes, you've already ordered 5 more cheeseburgers. And by the time you finish eating, 10 to 15 minutes after you're done eating, you've cleaned everything off your plate, you feel disgusting, like you're going to throw up because you are 1,000 calories over or 500 calories over, for example. So it's pretty delayed. But if you're eating the right foods, you just make better decisions. And if you care, again, the reason why the elimination diet is so important, because if you do it, it shows that you care. You have a minimum. It's like passing a bar exam or passing your medical boards. It shows, or passing a personal training certification. I'm not equating a personal trainer to a doctor or a physical therapist, but when you pass the boards, when you pass the standard, like the bar for being a lawyer, you show a minimum competency to having command over knowing the laws, over knowing how to spot someone based on paper, based on a quiz, or what exercise would be best to hit this, or what muscle you should be stretching if you want to deactivate it for personal training, for example. So you're showing a minimum competency. You're not showing that you're a good doctor or a good lawyer or a good personal trainer. You're just showing that you have the answers to a minimum capacity, which is why you have so many people in all these fields that don't know jack shit, because they really don't know what they're doing. They just know how to spit back answers on a test, because that's our education system. It's built on the classic faulty education system to create factory workers. And that's the same way we're testing for hands-on health type protocols. I know I grouped lawyers into that, but all these certifications and exams and boards and stuff like that is just showing a bare minimum of an understanding. So the elimination diet is doing that same thing. You have a minimum, you have an understanding and a care and an investment and a psychological, just you give a shit. If you're going through the elimination process, you fundamentally care. You're not doing that just for fun. You're not doing that just for fun. You're doing it for results. You're doing it to get information. You're doing it to get feedback. So if you do that, it's a good move. It's a good move. You're going to make better decisions because you're actually more conscious of those decisions that you make. Some people just, if you're just going through your life and just getting dragged through like a horse, just dragging you through the mud, why? Take control. Ninja Misty's Ninja Nook. All right. Any advice for women who are working on diet and fitness while going through perimenopause? Same thing. It's elimination diet, making sure you're locking down your 7 pillars, making sure you're meditating, practicing yoga. You might want to be tracking your caloric intake, making sure you're not overeating. I mean, those things are different for every woman. Some women really manage that properly. Some women have a hell of a time. I couldn't speak for any woman because I don't have menopause. I'm not going to have any of those issues particularly, but how many women watching deal with that actively, or any specific suggestions that you have Because I would still suggest the same fundamentals. I would still suggest the same things I suggest to anyone if you haven't done that already. If you're not focusing on all 7 pillars, and I'll come back to the main screen right now so I can show you what those are: community, nutrition, training, recovery, mobility, mindfulness, and consistency. So this applies for everyone, whether you're menopausal, you're premenopausal, whatever you have, whoever you are, wherever you are, these things are important. I'm pointing the wrong direction over here. So if you haven't downloaded your copy, you can at swolenormousx.com. I highly recommend it, because if you're following these principles and you're approaching these areas of your life, and that's going to be individualized. And if you do that, you're going to circumvent a lot of issues that people just smash right into. They're trying to go through a fucking wall. Why go through a wall? Why go through a wall and crush yourself when you can avoid these pitfalls that a lot of people, for some reason, just seem like they want to make things more difficult. It seems like a lot of people want there to be, they want to complicate their lives. They complicate their lives and then look for a simple solution, right? I feel like that's a fundamental flaw of human nature, or at least society today. I feel like all the questions that I get and all the struggles I see people have with their nutrition and dieting and meditation and scheduling and stuff, it seems like people complicate their lives and then try to look for a simple solution. And it's like, well, if you didn't complicate it to begin with, if you're not complicating the problem, then you don't need to have a solution, period. You don't need a simple solution is not going to work for, not necessarily, but if you complicate your life, you're creating challenges that don't need to exist, is my point. Let's see here. Scrolling. All right, I'm way too high up here. I'm way too high in the chat. Scrolling. Let's see here. Amanda. Papa Swolio, coping with other people's anxiety and negativity during this new normal. You're asking me how? How do you? I love my community and friends, but they're constantly saying that this year is canceled. How to help them and stay sane? You can't help them. Like you can't help people like that. I mean, you can't change what people think. It's like religion or politics. You can't just say, you shouldn't believe that. Okay, you should vote for this person. No, you get into an argument real quick. Other people's anxiety and negativity. Negativity about the pandemic, negativity about social, negativity about politics, negativity about your fitness, fit shaming, negativity about their own health. I mean, coping with other people's anxiety, don't spend time around them. Don't spend time around people that are super anxious and super negative. Cut them out. That's your community. Mow your lawn. I love my community and friends. How do you love people that are super anxious and negative? Fucking cut them out. You can't help them. You can lead by example, but if they're just poisoning themselves, some people like to poison the water they drink. They poison the well and then drink from the well. And you're thinking, why would you do that? So if they're not willing to help themselves, you can't override that. You can't make them less anxious. You could invite them. You could suggest to them meditation. You can talk about it and bring it up. I just think you should be cutting out those kinds of things from your life. I don't want to go get new friends. Well, you're just kind of comfortable with the people that you're around, but sounds like they're negative. Probably should get rid of them. Or maybe not going out of your way. Don't go out of your way to spend time with people like that. Oh, he's heating up. Oh, is he now? Oh, is he now?
He's heating up!
Yes, he is. What's up, Marek? Papa Swole, I'm eliminating pizza from my diet, which is my biggest weakness. So far, so good. How long should I wait till eliminating another shitty food like sweets when I won't feel craving for pizza? I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I'm not trying to get you to... I mean, elimination diet should be done all at once. It's not really one food like that. And it's not... The elimination diet is not supposed to be something where you eliminate cheeseburgers. Or I'm eliminating ice cream or pizza. The point of the elimination diet is to figure out the ingredients and the foods that you work. So, for example, you can make your own types of pizza. You can make your own. You can construct foods that you like to eat with healthier ingredients. You don't have to go to a place where they're putting vegetable oil, where they're using crappy sauces and cheese and tons of salt and tons of dough and processed flour and stuff like that that might be fucking your world up, you can make it at home. We have recipes, for example, in X. I talk about it all the time. It's one of our favorites that we do once in a while because it's very heavy. We have the portobello mushroom pizzas, and they're delicious. They're great. And it satisfies any kind of craving. It tastes just like it. It tastes even better because I'm eating grass-fed beef and I'm having delicious mushroom. I love it. I love it. And we make it once in a while because, again, they're very heavy, but it's very satisfying. So it's about the food groups. Like you're cutting out dairy, you're testing dairy, you're cutting out gluten and flour and grains, you're cutting out processed sugar or soda, like sugary liquids, alcohol. Those types of things are in that realm. So one specific food isn't necessarily going to tell you anything, especially if you're consuming other food groups that are included in that in other aspects of your life. It's not necessarily covering all your bases. So that might not get that's not just by cutting out one food like that isn't going to cover what you should be focusing on in the elimination diet. It shouldn't be just a specific type of food. It should be a food group. That's what you want to be testing, analyzing. Can we see a full day of eating? I don't record my steak. I don't eat all day. Coffee. Here's a full day of eating. I drink coffee. And tonight I'll have probably a ribeye steak, maybe some sweet potatoes. There's my full day of eating for you. So, Josh, with all the access to education, information, you think people would be smarter? Well, now there's just too much and people just get overloaded and then punch out completely. It's smart. It's a smart play. Either just flood the internet and flood social media with excess information, and then the truth will get lost, or the truth will get shoved under the rug. Again, hashtag make it happen for today. Drop your questions below. All questions are valid if I see them. If I miss it, you can always ask again. Scrolling, make sure you use the hashtag, use some question marks, because some of you, if I don't see a hashtag, I'll probably miss it because I scroll fast. A lot of questions. Make sure you use that hashtag. If you're not using the hashtag, I ain't going to go after the question. So make sure hashtag APS. Look at the scrolling text down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio, hashtag APS, and I will get to your question. If you didn't use it, I probably will not see it. Let's see. I'll be taking other comments, though, in the meantime. Sarah, agreed. I started the elimination process, and I did it as a complete elimination. I no longer crave fast food and junk because I like my food. I was a lazy beesh before. Hashtag make it happen. Let's see. Marek, I know that gluten makes a fucking balloon on face and stomach, so I don't want it in my life. So there's other ways to get that kind of flavor fix or to create a meal. It depends on how much you like to cook. I mean, a lot of it is just convenience. A lot of what people do when it comes to going and purchasing junk food is just convenience. It's simple. You don't have to, it's an easy instant gratification, and you don't have to make it. It takes no effort. You hit a button and it gets delivered. So, of course, it's the path of least resistance. It's what your body always wants to do. Your body wants simple. Your body likes simple. So if you have something that's super simple, even if it's not natural or if it's not, this is not something from evolution, technically. I mean, I guess kind of we create as humans, so you can make that argument. Well, what is natural? What isn't natural? Well, if everything in this world is on Earth and we created this, then technically it's natural, and technically it's not a bad argument. But at the same time, the concentrated calories, our physical evolution, our biology hasn't adapted to this type of, and you can see it. You see it in the results. People are dying from food. If you're dying from food, there's something wrong. If you're dying from the food and you're dying from the lack of exercise, you might want to eat better food and exercise. But I'm just saying it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. You'd think more people would pick up on that by now. Well, I'm just going to cut my calories and still eat these 200-calorie low-fat cookies. Okay, have fun with that. Sounds like you're getting tons of great nutrients. Sounds good. Enjoy your drugs. You're so strict. You're such a mean person, but I like my cookies. I like my cookies.
Who told you you eat my cookies?
Make them yourself. Make them better. Or don't eat them. Eat real food. But it is real food. I can have a cheat day. My coach said I can have a cheat day. Whatever. Whatever you want to justify. We live in a world where you can justify whatever you want. So you can make an argument either way. And that's one of the problems with politics, with social issues, with nutrition, is that there's enough information and there's enough people that have success with different things that you can make an argument. And if you want to stay in that bubble and believe what you want, you can find people and you can find information, blogs and articles and studies that support your claim. So it's kind of like you can justify, if there's something you want to do, you can find something out there that will justify it. You can find someone that posted a video that says, you could do what you want, you deserve it. Okay, you could find plenty of content like that. You can find plenty of calories in, calories out content. You can find plenty of juice cleanse content. You could find plenty of vegan content, plenty of carnivore content, plenty of paleo content, plenty of keto content. It's just verificationist. You can find whatever you want. Whatever you want to do, you can find some kind of content that will support that will make you feel all warm and fuzzy for doing that. You can verify anything that you fucking want. Does that mean that it's right? No, it doesn't. That's what I'm talking about. Just because someone made a video on it, just because someone has a degree, myself included, it doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it. That's why my approach is so fundamental, because I'm taking into account, with the 7 pillars, we take into account all the possibilities, all the options, all the confusion. We eliminate all the confusion. It just takes some effort. And that's where people lose their fucking mind. It takes effort. You have to try. How fucking dare you, Papa Swolio? How fucking dare you? How dare you, Papa Swolio?
Come on, stop whining.
Man, how dare you? How dare you tell me to put effort in? How dare you tell me to take an interest in my body's health? Well, I dare. I fucking dare. That's all I'm doing. If you take an interest in your health and you actually pay attention to how you feel after you make your food choices, then you're going to find out some information that you're not going to find out any other way. You're not going to find it out just by switching cold turkey and not eating any more animal products, period. I'm just going to eat grass. Or you're just eating meat. I'm just going to cut everything out. It's like, okay, I mean, you can go extreme right off the bat, but you're going to have a lot of issues probably in the first few weeks. You're going to have a lot of problems that might make you quit. And then what happens when people just go, how many of you did that? Drop a comment down below. How many of you you went right into vegan, or you went right into keto, or right into whatever it is, you went right in. And then the first couple of weeks, you had that changeover, your macrobiome, your microbiome, everything was completely and you quit. You quit after a couple of weeks because you couldn't handle that change. Maybe you were just before you quit, just before you were really going to see that progress. But you went so extreme that you had this your body was like, what the fuck is this? We're getting completely different foods. And then you had diarrhea. Sometimes people get that. They go carnivore in the first couple of weeks, they have diarrhea, and then it goes away. But people quit in the first couple of weeks because they think something's wrong, but they just make extreme decisions. And you completely overhaul night and day, snap your fingers. On a biological level, our bodies are not designed to completely change our nutritions overnight. We're supposed to live, just when I say supposed to, we've evolved, we grow up and we live in one location. We hunt, we fish. If we live by the ocean, we're going to be eating a lot more fish. That's just what cultures do when they live by the water. If you're living in the plains, you're going to be eating more meat like Native Americans. You're going to be hunting. You're going to be in Africa. You're not going to be fishing in Africa unless you're living on the coast. You're going to be hunting animals in the woods. So it depends on where you grew up and where your DNA and where your ancestors are and where you're located. Now humans, we just have whatever we want. We can have fish if we decide to. We can have meat if we decide to. We can have out of season vegetables and fruit whenever we decide to. So we can have these complete changeovers, and that's why our bodies are like, whoa, what the fuck is this? This is completely different. That's not necessarily what we're optimized for. And plus genetically, where's your heritage from? That's going to make a big difference as to what you metabolize better. Aiden, make sure you're using the hashtag APS, hashtag AskPapaSwolio, and use your question marks. I'll try to take some questions, but I'm not going to see all of them if I don't see those question marks and hashtags. Aiden Cummins, what's a good exercise for weak glutes and back of thighs besides squats? Deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, glute ham bridges. You can do single leg squats. You can do single leg RDLs. You could do kettlebell swings. You can do hip bridges. Practice your yoga. Yoga is great. Back of thighs. Yep. RDLs, deadlifts. Those are all good. APS, ask Papa Swolio. Does a supplement being NSF certified really mean anything? My personal trainer has been great, but they do keep pushing these supplements. I believe NSF is just one of those certifications that says you don't have any banned ingredients. So if you compete in NCAA sports or professional sports, that you're not going to get banned, because that's happened. Where like for Olympics or some things like that, you'll take a pre-workout, or these athletes will take an energy drink or something, and it's not pure. Because when you have these labs that create supplements, a lot of times they'll make this one factory might make, I'm just throwing out a number. I have no idea what these manufacturing companies make or what these warehouses make, but you can imagine maybe they make 50 different supplements or 100 different supplements. Maybe they have different areas where they do different production runs. Like, hey, we're going to do another 10. We got another 10,000 order for, let's say XYZ creatine. So the same equipment might be used. Maybe they clean the equipment. Maybe they don't clean it well enough, or maybe they just don't have the same kind of strict guidelines or whatever. A lot of times these athletes might take a creatine and then might have some kind of substance. It might not be steroids or something like that, but it could be some kind of stimulant or the like that might be banned by one of these organizations. They test positive and then, they get disqualified or they get banned or something like that from competing for the year or forever or whatever it is. So NSF certified, as far as I know, is just a company, third party that goes in and just makes sure and testing and make sure that nothing, it's like organic. It'll be like, oh, this is done a certain way. This doesn't have X, Y, and Z. This is approved for use based on our guidelines. So then athletes can know what they can use and what they can't use. It has nothing to do with the quality or efficacy of a supplement, though. So if your trainer is pushing supplements, personally, I would find a new trainer. That's just my opinion. If a trainer is pushing supplements, like what are they pushing? Are they pushing something that they have a coupon code? Is it a gym? They get a kickback? Why are they pushing supplements? I never like people that push supplements. That push it. If they have supplements or you ask them about supplements and they have opinions and they use them, that's one thing. But if they're pushing, oh, you should take this, take this, take this. Fuck that shit. L. Ratliff. Papa Swolio, any advice for doing the 90-day dash with resistance bands? Absolutely. Do it. Absolutely. Any advice? Go after it. Crush it. Enjoy. What's your question? I mean, the advice is make sure that you can swap out any exercise, any kind of chest press. You could do it with a band. I would make sure that if you have bands, I would make sure you get one of those door anchors that you can put on the top, the middle, or the bottom of the door. That way you can get different angles. You absolutely can do it with bands for sure. Depends on how heavy your bands are, depends on what your experience is with, but you can definitely do any kind of bicep, any kind of exercise. It's only tough when you start doing legs, because it's hard to do legs with bands. It really is, depending on the type of bands. So you can do bands where like you're doing lunges where you're holding the band, you're stepping on it, and you're just kind of coming up and down. You can step back and do it, as long as you have it under your front leg. But it's a little bit harder to do legs with bands. But there's some great body weight exercise. You could do single leg squats. You can do body weight squats. You can do more time under tension. You can do hip bridges. You can use other things to do leg exercises. You could do a lot of great body weight leg exercise that leverages your own body weight. But some of those get a little bit more advanced. But specifically with bands, anything you could do with dumbbells, you can do with bands. It just might not be as comfortable depending on what kind of bands. There's different types of bands. The ones with the handles, there's the loop bands that don't have any handles that you can actually get handles for that hook around them, or you just hold them with your hand. So you got some options there. What's up, Jeff? Papa Swolio, 26 years so far in the military. My feet and ankles are jacked from boots and running. Is there a time frame of going barefoot as much as possible that some of that damage will reverse? Cherry just popped. Welcome, Jeff. I don't think you're going to reverse any of that. I don't think it's not really something that reverses damage. A lot of that is just scar tissue and that restriction from wearing shoes from birth. And if you're 26 years wearing boots and running, you're going to be, I mean, that's a lot of yoga. That's a lot of yoga. I'd be very careful running and doing impact barefoot because your foot is not used to having that kind of range of motion supporting itself. So there's definitely no time frame. Just put as much effort into strengthening your feet and doing yoga and doing barefoot activity as much as possible, loosening up your Achilles tendon, strengthening the bones in your feet. Don't go doing tons of running. Don't do it on hard surfaces. Don't do sprinting on treadmills and lots of plyometrics and shit. You know, start really, really slow and progressive with barefoot activities. So there's definitely no time frame, but think about it. 26 years running and stuff in boots, and it's not like a time frame, maybe 26 years, but it's not like it's going to reverse. Your bones are formed, the scar tissue is there, but it can definitely improve drastically. So I'm not saying that to discourage you. But reverses, that's just kind of vague, right? What does that actually mean? Are you going to reverse age like Benjamin Button? Are you going to undo yourself? Are you going to undo your damage to when you were completely a newborn and your bones weren't fully formed yet, right? Karen C. Did you change your name from Karen to Karen? You're like, I'm just going Karen. I'm going ease. Karens are getting a bad rap. I'm just kidding.
I was kidding.
I'm joking.
I was only kidding.
You frequently recommend people to cut out shitty people from their lives, mow their lawn, etc. What do I do when I'm the shitty person? How do I cut myself out of my life? Ooh, that sounds dark. You don't. Don't do any of that. Don't go down that road. Don't be cutting yourself out of anything. Meditation. That's cool. That's called self-awareness. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. How do you know you're the shitty person? What do you do? Setting good habits, I would start meditating regularly. I would start meditating. Maybe you need therapy, but meditation is self-therapy, essentially. You're going through all your baggage. So I would definitely start listening to some quality podcasts like this one. I would start reading some more books. I would start meditating daily, maybe once or twice a day, 5-10 minutes a day. Yeah, if you're the shitty person, work on yourself. Most people should be working on themselves and not worrying about what other people are doing. Seriously. And here's another thing. You tend to share, you're not going to surround yourself with shitty people. You're less likely to surround yourself with shitty people if you are taking care of yourself. This solves a lot of problems. A lot of people are worried about, oh my God, my friend's this, my coworker's this, my family, this and that. If you're working on yourself, it exposes that by default. If you're taking care of yourself and you're surrounding yourself and you're reading and you're listening and let's say you're part of the Swole fam, you're coming here and you're listening to all the positivity and you're hearing people that are crushing it, that are totally fine with focusing on their health and that kind of approach. And then in your personal life, it just starts to expose the gunk in your life. So if you are that person, if you're working on yourself, you're less likely to surround yourself with poisonous people long term. So if everyone just works on themselves, it's going to lead to better decisions. You're less likely to surround yourself with crap if you're taking care of yourself. If you're surrounding yourself with a better you, because essentially meditation is you a little bit stepping outside of yourself and realizing you're part of everything, realizing everything's one big web and network of just experiences. So if you take care of yourself, you don't want all that shit interfering with your life. Just taking care of yourself will solve a lot of problems. You don't have to look outside. You have to look in, work on yourself, and then you're going to be more impervious to the bullshit around you. Katya de Groot. Do people in America not know how to cook food from scratch? Most don't. Because I only ever see takeout or fast food or processed food on YouTube and other social media. Well, welcome to why I make so much content about this shit. That's all you see, period, for sure. Most people in America, I would say, do not know how to cook food from scratch. I would say most people don't. Well, they don't do home ec. Parents don't teach their kid. Well, here's the thing. It's also, going back to this for a second, we'll come to you, Michelle, in a second. But a lot of parents have a tough situation because it's harder to make a living nowadays. It's harder for parents. So parents are working longer hours. Parents don't always have the time to stay at home and to cook. The husband's working, the mother's working. It's not the 1950s or 60s where you had the husband, hi, honey, I'm home, one person. Like, we don't remember that because we weren't alive, but it used to be where you would have, and this, I'm not saying this is better, but let's say theoretically it was the male or the female, one parent, and classically it was the male would go to work, come home, the mother, the housewife, have the two kids. My point being that you would have one parent that would make money and then the other one wouldn't work. It's like nowadays it's almost weird. It's more of a rare situation where one person is the quote breadwinner, male or female, the mother or the father. It's a little bit more rare because it's harder to come by those kinds of situations. So when you have both parents working, in most households, you have both parents working, they're not at home teaching how to cook. People are just trying to save time. They're not thinking about nutrition. They just want to put food on the table and get through the day to the next day. And that's a problem. You're not living in the present. You're always thinking and planning for tomorrow and the next week. Oh, how am I going to do this for tomorrow? You're not focusing on the present. That's what meditation does. So you're focusing on now. What can I do now for my health? You make better choices, but it's tough. It's tough to teach that time-wise. But we used to have that in schools. We used to have home ec. They don't have that anymore. We need to teach kids how to invest in real estate, how to start businesses, how to do taxes, how to be valuable, productive members of society, how to follow their passions, how to be creative, free play, yoga, meditation, teach them how to cook. That would be my school. If I had a school, that's what it would be. Kids fucking playing, kids learning real skills, learning how to communicate, learning how to be physically active, learning how to take care of themselves, how to cook, how to fucking do all the stuff you have to do as a human being. 2 + 2 = 4. We got to get you ready for college, Timmy. Timmy's fucking 6. Give the kid a fucking break. He doesn't need college prep when he's in first fucking grade. What? So he can get into a school so he can be brainwashed for another 4 fucking years and then be in debt 150 grand with a worthless fucking, a worthless liberal arts degree? Get the fuck out of here. Sorry about that. Rant. I'm not sorry at all. That was a good fucking rant. That was a good fucking rant.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
Michelle, Papa Swolio, I'm a chef, recovering sugar and carb addict. I'm trying to do intermittent fasting, eating with my family. How do I stop snacking at work? I pick at food, taste, test. You took notes. This is like a Cliff Notes. It's messing me up with my diet. What can I do to stop? What do you mean? You're trying to do intermittent fasting, eat with my family. How do I stop snacking at work? I pick it. You don't. Like, why are you snacking at work? Where are you getting food? You pick at food? What? You don't. What can I do to stop? Meditate? I mean, you're trying to do, maybe intermittent fasting doesn't work for you. You're a chef? Oh, you mean you pick food at work? Oh, I'm putting this together. All right, I forgot that first part. I'm a chef, so you're at work. I get it. You're at work. You have to be a chef and you're tasting. Well, I know some chefs that you don't taste everything. You can have someone else taste it. That's kind of tough, I would say. I'm not a chef, so I'm assuming it makes sense that you have to taste it so you know what the outcome is. You don't necessarily have to eat it, but I guess you want to know if what you're making tastes like shit or tastes good. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one when your job is food. So that's kind of impossible for you to do intermittent fasting. You can also do reverse intermittent fasting. You don't necessarily have to do intermittent fasting. It might not work for you to do, let's say, not eating all day until X amount of time. Maybe you have to shift what time frame you eat. That way you're doing your intermittent fasting is maybe when you're not at work, is when you're not eating or something like that. I don't know. It might not be the best setup for you. I don't know what you're eating. What kind of chef are you? What can I do to stop? It's not complicated, really. So it depends on the nuances of what you are like and what you're thinking of and what's going through your head. So if you're trying to do intermittent fasting, how do you stop snacking? Like, it's like by not snacking, by like not doing it. I pick at food. It's like, well, don't pick at food. But if you're a chef and you have to test the food, I don't really know what to tell you. It's kind of like you do it or you don't, black or white, 1 or 0. It's pretty binary. I'm not sure exactly what to tell you. What kind of foods, what kind of chef are you? Rachel, I can't. Most people don't know how to cook anymore. You got to take the time to teach. yourself basic survival skills, especially if you have parents who didn't take an interest in actively teaching you. Sarah, elimination process takes time and effort, but I feel way better now, and my mind is so much clearer. I went cold turkey May 1st. Make it happen. I didn't quit. Good for you. May, I hate cooking, always have, but I do it anyway, as I will know how my food is prepared and cooked. I agree. People just don't want to take the time of day to prepare their food and then complain they feel awful. That's one of the reasons why I eat very simple. One, I don't like to, I'm not like, fancy food, the fancy this, and I a little glaze here and this. I want a fucking steak, and I make it. I want it to be like as simple as possible. I like food's basic. I like just eating shit straight up. Boom. Cook a sweet potato. It's in the oven. Great. Put it in my mouth. Done. That's just me. I'm not saying that you have to do it the way I do it. But I look at food as fuel, and I feel completely fine with it. Doesn't affect me negatively at all. I love it. I love it. I fuel up and I fucking enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's delicious. It's fantastic. Bethany, I'm American and I make all my food from scratch. And I'm in my 20s. I'm not the norm though. No, you certainly are not. You are not the norm at all. At all. Let's see here. Black Deer, what's going on? APS, how can I help my mom to change her diet? She only eats unhealthy food. She has diabetes and only 2/3 of her liver works. I'm already losing my dad to dementia. He never had a choice. She does. Jesus Christ. That's such a tough question. How do I answer this? I really can't answer it. How do I answer it with grace? All right, I'm going to rage. I have to fucking go off. I have to go off on this
He's
shit.
heating up!
And it's not your fault, Black Deer, but how the fuck do people let their health get to this point? What the fuck is wrong with people? God, like, she's giving up. She has diabetes. 2/3 of her liver works, and she only eats unhealthy food. This is and people say food isn't addictive. People say this lifestyle isn't addictive. That's fucking gross. It's like, do you care about, and I'm not saying, I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, does your mom even fucking love you? Does she even care about you? But it's really sad when the people that you love, in your case, Black Deer, when you love your mom, you want her to do well for her. How do you help her change her diet? Do you live with her? Does she live with you? Do you make her food? I mean, she's a grown ass woman. You can't be there if she orders pizza when you're not there, or I don't know what she's eating, but how do you help her change her diet? Fuck, why don't people help themselves? Why don't people just, when they're eating themselves to death and still can't change? It's really sad. And people say it's not addictive. Fuck. I don't know. Drop some comments below. How do you even answer that question? It's like, how do you help anyone that doesn't want to help themselves? Siobhan, I went right into a vegan diet, and a couple weeks later I was feeling weak and lethargic. Went to the doctors. He told me to eat more red meat and gave me iron tablets in the meantime. It's not for everyone. You really do have to cover your bases really well if you're going to do something like that. If you're going to do any kind of extreme diet. But a lot of people just go vegan because they think that's the fad, that's trending. But vegan is a religion more than anything else. You can cut down on red meat if it doesn't digest well for you, but I would recommend that you are testing and trying higher quality sources of red meat. Not you, but anyone else that thinks like, oh, I don't eat red meat, I'm cutting out meat. If you're eating shit quality meat, you should be cutting that out anyway. But a lot of people just demonize meat completely and they don't go for higher quality animal products. So it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. Mary, Papa Swolio, I didn't buy junk food when I lived alone, but I moved in with family and there's always chips and ice cream in the house. I'm struggling. Any tips for dealing with the temptation? Well, what's pillar number 1? Community, right? So community is your environment. What do you surround yourself with? So what you did, and I'm not saying if you can move out, move out. I'm sure you moved in for a reason. And a lot of people are doing that now, especially financial, especially because of just everything going on. but there's always chips and ice cream in the house. You can't necessarily just throw it out. Other people are going to buy it, make their own decisions. Any tips for dealing with the temptation? Mindfulness, making sure that you are organizing your meals, you are preparing your food. Tunnel vision, looking at that food as not real fucking food. It's really just how you look at it. And the 7 pillars is really, it's your approach. It's the lens at which or through which you are looking at your food. So how are you looking at food? How do you view food? And you can all drop a comment down below if you want to pitch into what Mary's asking. How do you view your food? How do you look at your food? Is food entertainment? Is food a social thing? Or is food something that fuels your body and allows you to perform, allows you to lift things, walk, feel good, sleep well, repair, recover? Most people don't look at food that way because they don't train. They're not using anything. They just go through their life just completely oblivious. They go through life doing something that they hate. They're stressed out in their life. They're not happy. They're bored. They're at work. They're just on their phone. They're trying to watch Netflix. They're just escaping as often as possible. So it's very easy to escape with food because it doesn't take any work. It's inexpensive. It tastes really good. It gets you that fix right now. And most people have nothing to fuel up with and no need to fuel up. No one's spending anything. People aren't exercising. If you actively take care of your health and you're trying and you're lifting weights and you're performing, you notice night and day your performance improve when you're eating quality foods. If you're eating shit, your performance is going to be a lot shittier. You're going to be suffering a lot more from the side effects of eating crap food than if you're eating and fueling up properly. Now, it's going to look different for different people, but most people do not fuel properly, let alone do they have any need to refuel. So if you're not exercising at all, you're just replacing the bare minimum, and usually extra, you're having a caloric surplus because it's very easy to get a lot of calories from shitty, devoid foods. And that's what people are doing, consuming 2,000 or 3,000 calories a day of shit foods where they're not really using any energy. So they're just getting pure surplus. There's really nothing else. Any tips for dealing with the temptation? The same meditation, proper habits, prepping your food in advance, only eating what you prepare, looking at that food. I look at that food. Look, if it's fucking chips, it's like looking at a chair. I'm not going to eat a chair. I'm not going to eat that because it's not food for me. It's not an eating disorder. It's not disordered eating. It's just that's not supplying my body with quality nutrients. And that's just how I think of it. So I'm not restricting myself. I just see certain things as food and other things are not food for me. So what do I eat? I eat grass-fed beef. I like eggs. I like vegetables. I like fruit. So what do I eat? Yay. Papa Swolio, do you think personal experience is enough to become a nutrition coach or a fitness coach? No. Those words are very, those words are so sketchy. A nutrition coach, like what does that mean? Someone got a certification, they took a test online. A fitness coach, does that mean a fitness expert? Does that mean someone who's highly trained? Does that mean someone that has personal experience? Does that mean someone that has a certification? What certification? Like it's such a Wild West thing. That's why the fitness industry is a hot mess. That's why there's so much misinformation. It's because there's really no barrier to entry. And especially with social media now, there's no barrier to entry for anything. You can just run your mouth and talk about anything you want online. So the term expert is really just a fucking vague idea, a vague concept. And that's, again, when it comes to nutrition and fitness, I provide that inside Swolenormous X, but I'm also not trying to push any one ideology. I don't hate anyone that's vegan. I don't hate anyone that's carnivore. I don't hate, like, you can do that as long as you're doing it for the right reasons. I mean, if you think you're doing it for the right reasons, you want to justify it. Like it's your body, it's your life. You're the one that's going to have to deal with this on the back nine. So if you're making justifications, that's not going to be my problem. You understand? So that's the reason why I take this approach, because if you are not taking care, I'm not talking about you per se, Amanda, but if you're not taking care of your health, it's not my health that it's affecting. It's yours. So if you want to be like, no, I like to eat this. I'm going to eat this no matter what. Fuck you. Fine, go do it. As if it like hurts my feelings or something if you want to have pizza or an ice cream or something. Fucking go do it. It's not my body. I love how people say that in the comments as if, oh, I'll show him, I'll eat. I don't give a fuck what you do. I do, but I don't. If you don't care, then well, I'm not going to care more than you care. That's my point. No one should care more about your body than you. That's my point about when people go to the doctor, they try to outsource their health. You have to care the most. That's why an elimination diet gives you the most information so you can make those decisions based off the best information. If you don't have that information, you're just fucking shooting in the dark. And you don't want to find out all of a sudden when you're 50 or 60, oh, fuck, I have diabetes. Well, now it's too late. Now you're fucking working from 20, 30 feet behind the starting line. Now you have to try to make it back to even. Now you're trying to work through and wade through all the challenges of your condition. So personal experience is very important. Personal experience is everything in the context of having good information. So they're both important. I mean, personal experience, there are people that are certified, that have degrees. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There are people that don't, that have a lot of experience, that make a lot of sense, and that really do know what they're talking about. There are people that have both that know what they're talking about. There are people that have both that don't know what they're talking about. And how do you know? I mean, it depends on what context you're asking about personal experience about a nutrition coach or a fitness coach. To be in a gym, to have your own business, to have a podcast, to more context. Good question, but more context. Marissa, gluten definitely depresses me. Got off the wagon last week and I feel a huge difference in my mood. Sure, food makes a big difference with how you feel. Nisa. Ask Papa Swolio. I'm 5'8", 137 pounds. I eat about 1,400 to 1,500 calories a day. I walk for 4 miles, 4 to 5 times a week. I've been doing this for 3 months and I don't see changes. Should I increase my daily activity or decrease my calories? No, I wouldn't decrease your calories. That's like the minimum I would recommend for anyone, like a human being. You walk, exercise, lift, yoga, lifting weights. Start lifting some weights. You've been doing this for 3 months and I don't see changes. No kidding. You're doing like average activity. You're walking. That's great. Walking's great. Don't stop the walking, but start exercising. Yeah, you can try the elimination diet. You can check out my content on that, but start lifting weights. You need to build some lean mass. Start upping the intensity, up your training. Yeah. Are you trying to lose weight? You're say 137 pounds, but at 5'8", that's a good weight, isn't it? Right? For a female, 5'8", 137, that seems about right. If you build some muscle, that weight's probably going to go up. You might not like that fact, but you might be good at 5'8". I don't know, 145 with muscle. You're going to look leaner, but maybe 140 might be, that seems like a decent weight, even with muscle mass. So maybe build some muscle, lose some fat over time, but you're 5'8". I don't know what you're trying to really accomplish. Like, what's your actual goal? It sounds like you're trying to lose weight. You don't see changes. You're a female. Lift some fucking weights, Nisa. Lift some weights. So women are just trying to avoid lifting weights. Lift some fucking weights. If you lift like a beast, you're not going to get bulky. You're going to be carved. You want to have a physique, you got to build that physique. You got to build that sculpture. Good question, but that's my suggestion from what you said. If you have any other follow-up, you can. What's up, Ray? So having larger breasts isn't normal? It depends on the person. What do you mean? You talked about breast size. Huh? What? I talked about it on last. I think I was talking about a lot of women where they cut out all this garbage food. Their breast size can shrink. It's not across the board. But usually when women lose weight, they lose because it's body fat. It's fat. But a lot of times when you're cutting out these chemical and these like hormone pumped foods, that think about what happens with cows, right? They're trying to fatten them up before the slaughter. And they also feed these cows that are the milk and stuff. They're giving them grains and soy and corn and antibiotics and all those kinds of things. Like, oh, this milk and this isn't made with antibiotics. They're feeding them corn and soy, all these different things to skirt legally what they can say on the surface. So you purchase it. So they want these cows to get as fat and as grown, as adult as possible before they slaughter them, and so that they produce the most milk. So if you are a female and you're consuming these foods that are causing cows to lactate, that are causing cows to produce higher levels of milk production, wouldn't it make sense that if you're sucking down a lot of corn and soy, that you might have some more mammary tissue, that you might have some more biases towards more like a bigger body, towards producing, to having more weight towards your glands like a cow would? You're an animal. It might manifest differently in different people, but I've seen this time and time again, and I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying this is my science, here's my study, but it just makes sense. Mama Swolio did that. She changed dramatically, improved, and she eats very similarly to me. And her whole body, like inflammation everywhere, went down, just like bloating. Her breast size went down. They're beautiful. I love them. She's amazing. But at the same time, for a woman, it makes you self-conscious, but at the same time makes you think, holy shit. If it changes your physique that much from eating like quality food, it's scary as fuck. It makes you realize, wow, this food is really fucking my body up. So I'm not saying that larger breast, that's still depending on genetics. Some people just have larger breasts, but that's just my experience. So you can all drop it in the comments. May, would you recommend journaling along with meditation? Absolutely. And journaling can be whatever you want. Just write. It helps you organize your thoughts. Put it down on paper. I recommend it 100%. Whether or not you do it in the morning or the evening, I kind of mix it up. I was doing it in the morning, but it depends. But yeah, I would definitely do it for at least a few minutes every day. 5, 10, 15 minutes. I definitely would recommend it. Scrolling. Oh man, I'm behind. I might be missing some of these comments. I might be missing some questions. I'm scrolling. I'm seeing a lot of follow-up for other questions. Good stuff. N.A. Hart, what is walking 5 to 10 a day considered? Is walking that much and eating 1,650 calories enough? If you're walking that much, I'm sorry, I don't really understand the question. 5 to 10 miles? I don't have enough information to answer that question. I don't really understand it. Sorry. I know I posted this, but what exercise can I do to help my patellofemoral issues? Depends on what's causing them. Yoga is usually great. You're having like tracking problems. You could be doing yoga, glute activation, gluteus medius activation, lateral tube walking. You could be doing other sorts of exercises to mobilize your hip flexors, activate your glutes. Depends on what's causing it. SD8-bit. Do you think if nothing changes, we're heading to a fat apocalypse? We already there. Where the vast majority of people are obese in the future. We're already there. It's already there. No question about it. We're already there. We're already in a fat apocalypse. Jesus Christ, go outside. We're already there. You see how people already look, the dynamic, the social dynamic. First, it's, don't hurt my feelings. That's pretty much what people are saying right now. So all the social justice warriors are, don't hurt my feelings, don't use naughty words. And everyone's eating crap food and no one wants to hear about any kind of discipline or any kind of structure, any kind of, self-love in that sense, taking care of your health. No, do whatever you want. Fat acceptance, body. We're already there. Eva, opinions on doing only yoga as an exercise. Don't really have access to a gym or any weights at home. Body weight. Well, you do yoga, you could do push-ups, you could do lunges and body weight stuff. You could do some types of HIIT training and stuff. You don't need a lot of weights. You can get a set of bands for $20, $30. You can get inexpensive. Do yoga. Definitely do yoga. You could do a lot of chaturangas. You could do a lot of great stuff with yoga. Only yoga, for my opinion, is incomplete, but you can definitely do a lot of body weight calisthenic type stuff to go along with it until you have access to some things. But you don't need a lot of stuff for resistance training. I would look into some bands. Inexpensive and very versatile. Let's see here. What we got here? What else we got here? Bam, 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 bam. Questions. Papa Swolio, I'm 5'1", 126 on day 27 of the full elimination diet, finishing preliminary of 90-day dash. My goal isn't to be thin. I'm looking to build muscle. Will the 90-day dash help with building muscle? Sure, absolutely. You need to lift weights. You need to lift overload. You can adjust the volume. You can adjust the weights. So absolutely, if you push yourself, for sure. For sure, absolutely 1,000%. That all comes down to your intensity and your weight selection and your volume that you choose. Don't forget, you also got Scorched Earth and Swole Season. So those are particularly geared towards, Swole Season is particularly geared towards hypertrophy, but absolutely you can build muscle in the 90-day dash. 1,000%. It's like the movie WALL-E was a real life prediction. Yes, indeed. Papa Swolio, did you know that obesity is considered a national security risk? The majority of young people aren't fit enough to serve in case of a war. Well, we're already in a war. It's just not a hot war. We're in a cold war with China with tech. So it's an information war. So we're already there. I don't think it's necessarily something that's going to have missiles flying back and forth, but we're in for it. We're already in the middle of it, technically. Technically, we're in it, but not to rile feathers. But obesity is a risk for so many different things. It's bankrupting our country. But we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that because people need their fucking cheeseburgers. People need their chips and their soda. You don't want to take away candy from a fat person. How dare you talk to me about this? Fat acceptance. I'm beautiful the way I am. Intuitive eating. Yeah. Artisan Ape Man. Ape Man. Hey, Papa, what back exercises could you do at home with dumbbells, kettlebells, or a pull-up bar? Also, all of them. What back exercises can you do at home? I'll let you all answer that in the comments. That's the vaguest question possible. With dumbbells, rows, back flies, any type of rows, pull-up bar, pull-ups, kettlebells, rows, deadlifts, kettlebell swings are great for back. Clean snatch. I mean, that all works your back. All of them. You could do prone cobras without any weights. Lower back exercise. You mean glutes. There's really no lower back. You want to be strengthening the muscles around your lower back. Deadlifts are fantastic. RDLs, all of them. All of them. Fantastic. All of them. Let's see. Ninja. I'm brand new to the fam and I'm going through the beginning information. What calorie range should females shoot for when starting the elimination diet and the exercise program? First, I don't recommend any, you're following any, I wouldn't recommend any kind of calorie restrictions. The elimination diet's going to handle a lot of that for you. It depends on your specifics, but generally you're going to have a tough time. If you're doing the elimination diet properly, you're probably going to find that you're not going to be hitting your caloric. You're not going to be overeating. It's going to be a much more of a challenge to overeat. So a calorie range, that depends on your height, your weight, your exercise experience, your muscle mass, your lean tissue. So it really depends on all those other aspects that I don't have right here that you didn't provide. But you can post up in the Swole fam. Most people that do the elimination diet come nowhere near. They're always like, shit, I need to eat more because I'm only hitting 1,200 or I'm only eating this. So you're cutting out a lot of foods that are high impact in terms of calories that are easy to overeat. So I personally don't recommend people focus on caloric value from the start. It's more important that you're focusing on the quality, and that usually solves itself very, very swiftly. Very swiftly. Most people don't find caloric surplus a problem with the elimination diet at all. What's up, Justin? Just got unlimited today. What do you recommend first for hypertrophy between Scorched Earth and Swole season? I recommend the 90-day dash. If you're brand new, I recommend starting there. So you make sure you have that foundation. I wouldn't recommend jumping right into Swole season, personally. I'll let everyone else jump in the comments below, but it's designed for a reason. It might not seem at first, you might be like, I'm skeptical, but most people are super, 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 super humbled from the first phases of the 90-day dash and are glad that they started there. So you do have the Swole phase and you do have the Ignite phase in the 90-day dash. So I wouldn't recommend jumping right into one of those other programs from the start. Just my personal recommendation. Swole season is the focused hypertrophy program, but I would definitely recommend starting with a 90-day dash as a foundation. Welcome to the fam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But you can, I mean, everyone else can filter in too, because you can transition right into it. So the 90-day dash is designed so you can do Ignite, go into Swole season, and then just go right into it. So it's really cool. It just ramps right into it because you're doing the Swole phase for the last month, and then it can go right into Swole season. What's up, Amanda? My friend is on a weight loss journey. She's big. She's plumpy. She's big, but she's loving herself. And she shows it by only wearing leggings and a sports bra. Feeling conflicted. My friend is on a weight loss journey. She's big, but she's loving herself. And she shows it by only wearing leggings and a sports bra. Distracting and slightly gross. So you're feeling conflicted. What? You want to tell her like, yeah, you're grossing me out? So here's the thing with it when it comes to all that, when it comes to like the fat pride and stuff, I'm not even against it. Really, I'm not even against people. I'm not against people. That's the way it comes off as. I'm not against people loving themselves. I'm not like, oh my God, you're gross. I'm not against people. I want people to love themselves, but I think people should love themselves by respecting themselves and taking care of their body. So, but she's loving herself. In other words, is she like part of this fat acceptance thing? Is she like flaunting like, I'm big and beautiful? That's so subjective. I don't think so. But hey, you know, a beautiful soul. I don't know. That's so subjective. Whenever you talk about subjective stuff like that, you're going to come off as an asshole. So depends on what you mean. Sky Friday. Yeah, love the name. Sky Friday. APS, knee pain comes and goes. I keep squatting, deadlifting to work them back in. Is there other recovery methods you would suggest, like calf, squat, lower intensity? Knee pain comes and goes. It depends on what's causing the knee pain. Otherwise, you're just resting for inflammation to go down and then starting up again. And then it's going to flare back up and then you're going to rest again. And then it's going to go away and then it's going to flare back up. And you're going to rest again. It's just that vicious cycle. It depends on why it's coming, like why you're having knee pain. It's probably mobility. It's probably muscle imbalances. It could be scar tissue. Could be just could be your hip flexors, could be hamstrings, could be inactive glutes, could be just postural issues, could be form, could be coming at the ankle if you're wearing heels a lot. I don't know exactly what's going on. What could be causing the pain? Depends on what's causing it. That's the problem with just resting and letting it go away and come back. It's just going to keep on coming back until you solve the problem. The source of it. My mom doesn't want to change and lose weight because she's scared of loose skin. I'm moving out in about a year and I don't know what to do with her anymore. She's the one that doesn't have function of her liver. She has, diabetes, right? And she doesn't eat healthy. She's scared of loose skin, but she's fine with a poor functioning liver and diabetes. I'm right there with you. I mean, when you move out, I mean, it's sad to hear, but it's just really sad. I asked that question about the breast size because I was wondering if there's individuality on it or not because you brought up hormones. I mean, it's genetic. I mean, some people just have large breasts, some people don't. I'm just speaking from a lot of women inside Swolenormous X, and I'm talking from Mama Swolio in particular, and just personal experience and seeing what members say. And people that lose weight generally lose weight everywhere. You're losing extra body fat, mammary glands, and extra fat cells. Like, you'll lose mass in places. That's why women that lose weight, that lose extra body fat, a lot of times they'll get implants because, you know, women that compete in bodybuilding, right? They get really lean and they have those fucking like circles where it's just like, it's just a weird looking thing. But they do it because they lose so much body fat. But of course, they're competing on stage. But a lot of women lose weight when they cut out junk food, and because they're losing fat, but also because of, I'm just saying, I'm postulating that's likely. It makes sense. It makes sense that's not just the extra body fat. It makes sense that's also what these foods do to animals, because we're animals. You have the cows that it triggers extra growth. Think about what happens with humans. You're feeding humans corn and soy all the time. And you're feeding cows corn and soy. Cows get fatter faster. That's why they feed them corn and soy, because they grow faster so they can turn them into meat faster. If it takes a cow 5 years to become an adult, but they feed them corn and soy and it takes a year and a half, guess what they're going to do? They're going to have higher turnover, more product. So they're going to do that. Well, when you feed a human being corn and soy, guess what happens? Everyone's so fucking fat. It makes sense. It makes cows fat. It makes humans fat. It just makes sense. I'm not falsifying science or anything. I'm just like observing. Wow. If it walks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it's a fucking duck. Probably. Makes sense. Just thinking. Love yourself for yourself. Don't turn a good thing into a public statement and a movement. Show us, don't tell us, make it happen. Are we talking about the fat positive? Well, it's easier to flaunt. It's easier to change a hashtag than it is to change your life. It's easier to change a hashtag than it is to change your lifestyle. That's kind of like my thing with it. And it's easier just to do hashtag fat acceptance than to actually change your habits, isn't it? You're welcome, Scarlett. I appreciate the question. Yeah, look, the Ask Papa Swolio is great. These are my opinions. This is my experience. Sometimes you guys are asking, some of these questions are great. They're just hard to answer. And I couldn't even, some of these questions, I don't know if you'll find an answer to some of these. A lot of them are just personal experiences and it's just an opinion. You just need some help. You need a slap across the face or the tits. You need someone to tell you, not to commiserate, but you need someone else to be like, no, you're in the right place. And it's hard when you're talking about family that's not taking care of their health or you're struggling with an individual issue. But you can see from all the questions, especially when you're talking about personal situations where it comes to I'm cutting out this, or what do I do if I'm exercising like this? Should I eat more? Should I eat less? It can be complicated because your experiences are just unique to you. So you can see how nutrition and lifestyle and habits and scheduling, how it's very individualized. Like it needs to be something that you customize, which is why I push the elimination diet, which is why we all have to come together and customize our health. And if you care about customizing your health, if you care about that, you're going to make better decisions. You can't just wait for someone to, hey, tell me what to do. That's not how you should go through life. Just having someone tell you what to fucking do. What should I eat? Figure it out. Figure it out. Cut these foods out. See how you fucking feel. You're not going to feel good eating shit fucking food. I guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. My breasts are practically non-existent in contest prep. Typically D or double D when not in contest prep. Ew. Will it harm my muscles if I lift weights when my muscles are weak? I have hypothyroidism, which is causing the muscle weakness. Will it harm my muscles? Like if you're fatigued, if you're recovered, you should be fine. So you just feel physically weak, Cerny? So hypothyroid isn't metabolizing properly is usually what that refers to. If your muscles are recovered, it's not going to harm your muscles. If you don't have the same strength and you're not overtraining or under recovering, then you should adjust the resistance. But harming your muscles, I don't know if it's going to harm them. You just might have to adjust your output if you're affecting your strength. I didn't know about hypothyroidism affecting strength. I've never heard anyone mention that. It's only been about metabolism. Doing butterfly focus this week? What's a butterfly? What do you mean? For which yoga class will help shoulders, chest, and back? What's a butterfly focus? Like a swimming? For which yoga class? Oh, that's for everyone else. I'll let them just let you know which one they would recommend. And they all help. All yoga is great. The thing is, especially with chest and back, everything's connected. Even the hips can open up the chest and back. So every yoga class is great. I know it's a swimming stroke. You just didn't specify. You said I'm focusing butterfly focus this week. Most people are like, huh? I know it's a swimming stroke. When I was younger, I got first place in the butterfly at one of the events. That's a weird one. Like a seal. Regardless of what I eat, I always feel good as long as I'm not overeating. Makes it hard to stay on track or know what's good for my body. Okay. Would you like to become Nico Cotto? No, I wouldn't. To check how... No, I wouldn't want to be him for 5 minutes. Not at all. I would not. Artisan. Hey, Papa, as a martial artist, do you recommend splitting muscle groups for full body workout for that specific goal? Depends on how often you're training and what kind of martial art you're doing, I would say. It seems like for most depends on how much you're practicing. It might be total body a few days a week with more. It depends. I mean, there's so many different ways to train. And there's a very big difference between training for aesthetics and training for performance. There's a huge difference. If you're training specifically for a certain outcome with your sport, that's a huge difference than, hey, I want to have like shoulders that are bigger. I want to have a smaller waist. I want to have abs. I want to have chest that looks a certain... There's aesthetics and bodybuilding, and then there's performance. A huge difference. Huge difference. It makes it hard to lift. Is this all the time? I don't think it's bad for your muscles, but if your muscles are getting tired, if it has nothing to do with your muscles, then I'm not sure. I don't think it's bad for your muscles. I haven't heard about anything being bad. You just won't be able to lift as much as you normally did then, huh? It's 15 minutes in every class for 30 hours. What is going on here? 30 hours. You mean 30 minutes, 15 minutes every class for 30 hours? You mean over the course of the week or something? What is going on here? Yeah, I haven't heard that either. Well, Tip says, sounds like maybe another deeper issue. Your thyroid issues don't cause that. I haven't heard of anything. I'm just kind of, I don't want to give a wrong answer because I'm not aware of a thyroid issue causing strength issues. Super Jen, do you have your thyroid regulated with medication and you still have a hard time lifting? All right, so this is out of my scope of practice for sure. This is definitely medical. So we're just having a conversation. I don't have an answer for that. Nor should I. So no worries there. I just personally haven't had, because I get a lot of questions about that from like a nutrition standpoint, but I haven't heard anything from a strength standpoint. Not that I recall. Last one. Let's see. APS, what are your thoughts on goat cheese or milk? I buy it from Natural Grocer and it's a really clean product, but I wonder if you still dislike it as a dairy product. A lot of people have issues. There's different types of dairy, and there's different processes in which you, I guess, create the final product with a dairy product. So some cows produce A1 casein proteins, and some cows have A2, and I believe goat is A2. Goat, sheep, and like southern Mediterranean cows, southern European cows create A2 type casein. A lot of people don't have problems with that formation of the casein molecule. So you can Google it, but you'll see in some stores, I think they have things like A2 milk, or they'll have certain products that promote that for that reason. So, for example, some people have issues with dairy, but don't have issues with grass-fed butter. Some people have issues with dairy and grass-fed butter, but not with grass-fed ghee because it's clarified butter. So they have issues with the casein or the lactose, and there's very little bit in butter, but zero in the ghee. So you might not have issues. It could be a threshold type thing, but a lot of people that have maybe goat cheese or feta cheese or something might not have the same issues that they do with, let's say, sharp cheddar, for example. So it's possible that you don't have problems for that reason. So again, when I'm saying elimination diet, oh my God, you hate dairy, you hate this. Look, if you don't cut something out, I'm not talking about this with you, Brenna, I'm just talking in general. If you don't cut something out, how can you test it? How can you test something? Like if you're not, just think back to chemistry class or any kind of science class. If you're testing something, you need a control. Doing an elimination diet is a control. It's a study on yourself. You are testing products. So if you don't test them, you don't know don't you want to know if you're eating something that's fucking you up? If you're not interested in that, then what the fuck is wrong with you? You just don't care. I'll just eat anything. That's why I don't understand people. I'll just eat anything. So to answer your question, that might not be an issue for you for that reason. But I don't understand people that just don't care. I'll just fucking put anything in my mouth. Really? That's what you're going to do? Just anything in your mouth? Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I disagree. I think you should be avoiding that kind of stuff as much as possible. There's other choices. There's other selections you can make. Grain-fed steak, much higher risk, but it's up to you, Reynolds, if you want to eat it. Is far better than a burger. There's no difference. What's the difference? What are you talking about? A grain-fed steak is far better than a burger. You're talking about the same thing. You know, burgers are grain-fed. It's ground beef versus top sirloin? Like, what are you talking about? Depends. Not everyone can afford grass-fed meat. Well, if you go to Walmart, you go to these places that you can get $5, $6. What's $1 more, $2 more than grain-fed? Buy a grass-fed steak if you have the money, but you can get fit with a grain-fed one. How are you justifying? Like, what do you see these vague terms? You can get fit. What does that mean? You're talking about different things. There's different things between performance is different than health and side effects from food. Can you have abs and eat is that what you consider fit? So it depends. It's different. It depends on how you're defining things. You might look at someone who's lean and be like, oh, wow, well, they eat this. And it's like, trust me, it's a messy situation and people don't understand those nuances. Shocker. People don't fucking think well. And I'm not saying, Reynolds, you're not, but I'm saying when you talk about health or fitness, you have to define it. And also wellness, mental health, good habits, other aspects of someone's lifestyle. Just because you have biceps and you can see a bicep vein doesn't mean the person is healthy. You can see that by people that fucking bodybuild. They're fucking pumping chemicals into their body. They're starving themselves. They're doing extreme restriction and water depletion. Just because you can see every fucking muscle striation doesn't mean they're healthy and fit. And trust me, I was lean. I was ripped, muscular, all that stuff. And I was eating grain-fed steak. I had acid reflux all the fucking time. So what are you talking about fit? What are you talking about health? Again, how are you defining these things? What's your priority? If your goal is just to look a certain way and fuck it, you don't care about acid reflux, you don't care about cancer, you don't care about diabetes, you don't care about any of these other, let's say you just don't give a fuck. You just want to look a certain way. Well, you can cut all the corners you want. So it just depends on how you layer and how you think about your body. There's a lot of different things that go in. Most people just want to look a certain way. You know why? Because you look and you get instant gratification. Oh, look, I look a certain way. It's how you look. It's what kind of car you drive. It's how big your house is. It's how long your beard is. That's what she said. Right? I like all those things. That's not true. Grass-fed is only marginally more nutritious. Dude, that's just not true. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing. Completely different thing. Completely different. You're eating a sick, poisoned animal versus an animal that's eating what it should be. Like, how are you measuring nutrition? Are you measuring protein content? That's not what I'm talking about. Are you measuring carbs or fat content? It's not what I'm talking about. You're eating a healthy animal. It tastes completely different. And trust me, I've eaten grain-fed beef. I had nasty acid reflux. Nasty. Grain-fed tastes like shit compared to grass-fed beef. Tastes like fucking shit. Makes me feel like fucking shit. Night and day. The quality is night and day. And look, I can only speak from personal experience, but I will never, as long as I can fucking help it, go back to eating that shit. So it's up to you. You can eat all you want. Go for it. More for me. It's up to you. It's up to you. Most people tell you what you want to hear because it's easy. Most people will tell you what you want to hear because it's easier to sell you shit, because it's easier to get you to like their content, because they're telling you, oh, you can get away with all this stuff. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you can eat this junk food. You can make this taste like junk food. Make this fancy fucking recipe. Fine. There's plenty of people that want you to like them. There are plenty of people out there that want you to feel all comfortable and warm and cozy doing what you already do. Fine. That's fine. There's plenty of pages and things that you can find to verify your own desire to eat shit. It's just my thoughts on it. I speak from my own personal experience and education, and we do what we do here. You don't have to eat grass-fed beef just because I do. I'm just telling you that from all my experience of literally testing all this and doing it, eating it, yep, night and fucking day, along with thousands of other people that agree. So there is something for everyone out there, that's for sure. But when you see this kind of justification and you see the results of what's going on in society, it starts to question, well, maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe that's not the best methodology because everyone's fucking dying from food. Literally, food's killing people. That shouldn't be what's happening. We shouldn't be dying from eating food, but we are. But we are. It's called pandering. Indeed it is, Justin. Indeed it is. We love us some pandering in this country, don't we, on social media? Plenty of pandering. Oh, I'm getting that beach ball of death. Okay, it's back. Don't give me that beach ball. I hate that shit. Don't give it to me, Apple. Grain-fed, jammed-in feedlot beef makes me feel uncomfortable if I eat a lot of it, whereas grass-fed, finished, pasture-raised makes me feel energized and firing on all cylinders. Again, I just personally feel so much better. I feel amazing. I used to have a lot of problems with grain-fed. I used to eat a lot of that shit. Crappy chicken, crappy beef. It fucked my health up. Trust me. I did it for years. And I was bulking. I was eating a lot of it. I was eating a lot of chicken, like 3 times a fucking day. Made me feel horrific. Dude, my speed and stamina has gone through the roof and I hardly get sick since I started lifting weights and stopped eating sweets. That's why. No need for grass-fed organic for that. Well, you're not eating shit food, so that's going to help you already. Good luck. I wish you the best, Reynold. Good luck. You don't have to eat green. I don't care what you eat. Are you here just to try to virtue signal and be like, you don't have to eat that? Okay. I say you fucking should if you can. Why sell yourself short? Why not level up and do better? That's what I say. I think you're missing the point, but that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to eat what I eat. I'm not trying to tell anyone. You know what's funny? No, we don't have a troll. We don't have a troll. I love how a troll here is considered. He's eating grain-fed meat. He must be a troll. You can do whatever you want. I think a lot of people miss the point. They'll see my content and be like, oh my God, all you do is tell people to eat grass-fed beef and sweet potatoes. I literally just tell people that this is what I eat. Because everyone asks, what do you eat? Do a full day of eating. Ribeye steak, grass-fed beef, eggs, vegetables, berries like blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries and strawberries. I like grass-fed butter. I'm not a complicated person. Sweet potatoes. I'm not a complicated person. And I'm not telling you to eat literally what I eat. I'm just telling you what I eat. And I used to eat a lot of different shit. I used to eat a lot of different things. Used to eat a lot. I mean, I still eat a lot of different stuff. I just eat high quality things that work best for my body because I put in the time and the effort. And if you don't put in the time and the effort, you're not going to know. So you do what you do you, but also it's important to keep an open mind that just because what you're doing, and here's another thing, just because what you're doing now is working doesn't mean you can't do something that's better. And it doesn't mean there isn't a level up for me. That's why I'm always assessing. That's why you're always adjusting. You're always paying attention. What you're doing now is great. But have you also heard the term too, or the phrase, what got you here, what got you to this level is not going to be what gets you to that next level. So are you satisfied with where you are now? What if improving your nutrition a little bit more helped you with more important performance or more speed? What happens? What happens? The real issue is the way cows are treated and the impact on the environment and the impact on the people. It's all important. Factory farming is a hot mess. You're eating a sick animal. You're eating grain-fed beef. You're eating an animal that was slaughtered before it would die naturally anyway because they're fed to grow super fast, to mature super fast so they can decrease the life cycle of cattle. That's what factory farming's atrocious. And they feed them corn and soy. So the animals are getting fat and growing faster than they normally would, and they slaughter them before they would die anyway. It's all about the dollar. And that's why they're fed corn and soy, because it's subsidized by the government. It's dirt fucking cheap. And it gets them fat. But it's good. It's all up to you. All I'm saying is you have information that can help you level up. If you want to level up, level up. If you don't. It's all good. It's all good. As long as you care more about your health, give a fuck. If you give a fuck, you find oftentimes if you care and you put in the fundamental interest, you get great results. You get great feedback because you actually want results and you actually want to test these things. You want to try it on yourself. You want to experience it. You don't just close yourself off. And the reason why I talk like this is because I do it. And I am focused on myself. And as much as I do like to share what I do, I'm also not saying you have to do it because there's no point in me doing that. A lot of people do that. A lot of people, if they're a vegan, they get fucking angry at anyone that's not a vegan. Or if you're a carnivore, you get angry when anyone eats a fucking blade of grass. Why? I'm trying to spread some common sense and some logic. Don't you want to eat foods that make you feel great? Don't you want to eat foods that decrease inflammation? Don't you want to eat foods that help you sleep better? Don't you want to eat foods that help you reduce joint pain and insomnia and bloating and eczema and acne or decrease the risk of migraines? It's like, why not? Why not? And if you feel amazing and you want to eat grain-fed beef, it's like, then fucking eat it. then eat it. But, you know, it's up to you. It's up to you. I think a common sense approach is, again, not that common, and unfortunately so. It's all good, though. But it's all good, fam. It's all good. Let's get some Swole card. Time to get a roll on today. Here we go, Swole card party. Make it happen. Tomorrow we got a brand new accountability meeting. Mañana. We gotta make it happen. Today we gotta make it happen. Hashtag scrolling. No, I got APS. One more time. Nothing this time. Nothing the first round. Make it happen. Hashtag. Got a lot of APSs though too. We're gonna have to get another one. No, another one. One more time. Next time I'll just do the Ask Papa Swolio card. I'm trying to find someone that... No, APS. No, make it happen. Yeah. Nothing again. One more time and I'll keep it. One more time and our cards staying with Daddy. Oh, I just missed one. Was that it? No. The buzzer. Sarah A. I think you won recently. Congratulations. Why settle for average when you could be great? Make it happen. Excellent. Congratulations. Perfect quote. Perfect statement for the card. Hashtag make it happen. Everyone say congratulations, Sarah, on winning today's Swole card. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 1556 in the subject and your mailing address in the body of the email. Thank you so much for playing. Congratulations. So send us that email. Fantastic. Tomorrow is, we got some extra thirsties here. So let's see here. Scroll that back. Extra thirsty, nuts on chin, and then boom. Here's what I wanted to show you. Accountability meeting tomorrow. So 12 noon Eastern time, new releases. Don't miss it. I'll see you there, fam. If you want to learn more, check us out, Swolenormousx.com to join the greatest fitness fam in the realm. And big news coming, big stuff coming. Thank you for joining for this week's APS. And I'll see you tomorrow for the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Mañana, 12 noon Eastern time. Peace, McGeese, Deuce, Magoose. Ya boy, Papa Swolio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stocks crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint. We go hard in the paint. What the fuck is you saying? What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah. Whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies.